Welcome to the Story Lab. I hope you enjoy this story. Let's begin. Glanced at the clock on the nightstand as I woke up to an empty bed again. 7:15 a.m. Lila had already left for her morning run. It had become a ritual for her over the past few months, disappearing before sunrise and returning well after I'd left for work. At first, I didn't think much of it. Lila had always been an active person, and running was her way of staying fit. But lately, her routine had become excessive, even obsessive. She'd come back home drenched in sweat, her face flushed, almost glowing with exhilaration. As I sipped my morning coffee, I couldn't help but wonder what had gotten into her. Was this just a phase, or was there something more to it? A nagging suspicion crept into my mind, one that I couldn't quite shake off. "Hey Lila, you're back early from your run today," I said as my wife walked through the door. She gave me a casual shrug. "Yeah, I didn't feel like going the full route this morning. You've been going on really long runs lately though," I pressed. "Like, way longer than usual." Lila avoided eye contact. "Just feeling extra energetic, I guess. Trying to stay in shape." I wasn't totally convinced. Determined to get to the bottom of this, I decided to join Lila on her next morning run. She was getting ready for her run the next day. Slightly taken aback by my presence, I suggested we go for a jog together. "But honey, you know I like running alone," she protested. "It's my me time." "Come on, it'll be fun," I insisted. "We can catch up, and you can show me your new route." Lila sighed. "All right, fine. If you insist, we can go on a run together." We set off together. "So, nice morning, huh?" I attempted some small talk. "Uh-huh," Lila mumbled curtly. Most of the time she ignored me. The run was invigorating, but my mind was preoccupied with the reasons behind Lila's newfound enthusiasm for this routine. As we reached the park, she led me to a juice stand, where a young, handsome guy greeted her with a dazzling smile. Well, if it isn't my two favorite runners." Justin flashed his bright smile as we approached his stand. "The usual for you, gorgeous." He handed Lila a fresh juice, free of charge. She accepted with a bashful "Thanks, Justin." I felt a twinge of jealousy at their overly friendly exchange. "I'll have one too," I told him sternly. $5, my friend," Justin replied with a smirk. As we walked back home, sipping our juices, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this Justin guy than just a friendly juice seller. Lila rushed off to take a shower as soon as we got home, leaving her phone on the kitchen table. A part of me knew I shouldn't invade her privacy, but the suspicion gnawing at me was too strong to ignore. I picked up her phone, and I keyed in the simple 4-digit passcode I'd seen her use 100 times before. To my dismay, the phone unlocked, confirming my worst fears. Lila hadn't changed her passcode in years, and I wasn't prepared for what I was about to discover. Navigating to her messaging app, I scrolled through a series of flirtatious texts exchanged between her and Justin. "Can't wait to see you again tomorrow, winky face. Last night was amazing. You looked so hot. Next time wear that tight runner's top I like." My heart sank as I read the suggestive messages, and my blood boiled when I stumbled upon several intimate photos they had shared. I felt a wave of betrayal wash over me, but I fought to maintain my composure. I already shared evidence on my phone. I needed to confront Lila with the evidence, and losing my cool wouldn't help the situation. The sound of the shower turning off snapped me back to reality. I quickly placed Lila's phone back on the table, trying to appear nonchalant. When she emerged, her hair still damp, I couldn't hold back any longer. "We need to talk," I said, my voice trembling with barely contained emotion. "What's wrong, honey?" she asked, her eyes wide with concern. I took a deep breath and laid out the incriminating evidence before her. "I saw the texts and photos between you and Justin." "Oh my God, Mark." She froze, horror-struck as she realized I knew. "Don't bother denying it." I shouted. "I saw everything. You and Justin, sending disgusting messages and nudes back and forth." Her face paled, and she opened her mouth to speak, but I cut her off. "Don't even try to deny it, Lila. I saw everything." Tears welled up in her eyes as she realized there was no point in lying anymore. "I'm so sorry, Mark," she choked out. I don't know what to say. It was just some harmless flirting at first, but then it just happened." I never meant to hurt you. But then you decided to throw away our entire marriage over some stupid fling? I was seething with rage. With that douchebag juice boy? I'm so sorry. Lila cried. It was a huge mistake. I got carried away, but I still love you, Mark. Save it. I roared. We're done. Get your shit and get the hell out of my house. I don't want to see your face ever again. Lila sobbed uncontrollably, but I remained unmoved. The woman I loved, the woman I had vowed to cherish forever, had betrayed me in the cruelest way possible. As I watched her stuffing clothes into a suitcase, my heart shattered into a million pieces. This beautiful woman who I had loved and trusted for years revealed as a cheating liar. She me alone with the shattered remnants of our once happy marriage. But amidst the anguish, a newfound determination burned within me. If she thought she could just walk all over me like this, she had another thing coming. It was time to make Lila pay for her betrayal, and I knew just where to start. After Lila left the house, I marched down to the park, my fists clenched and my jaw set with determination. As I approached the juice stand, Justin greeted me with a smug grin. Well, if it isn't the cuckolded husband, he sneered. Come to beg me to take your wife back? Where's your wife at? Out getting railed by someone else? I grabbed him by the collar, surprising him with my sudden aggression. Listen here, you piece of shit. You just couldn't keep it in your pants, could you? Justin tried to play it cool. Hey man, Lila's a free spirit. She came on to me. I was just giving the lady what she wanted. You arrogant prick. I shoved him backwards. My marriage is ruined because of you. Bystanders started to take notice of our heated exchange. Justin puffed out his chest. Yeah, what are you going to do about it, tough guy? Cry some more? Your wife couldn't resist a real man like me. That was the last straw. Before I knew it, my fist had connected with his jaw, sending him stumbling backward. He recovered quickly, and soon we were locked in a heated exchange of blows, grappling and shoving each other with all our might. I managed to take control of the fight. I launched myself at him, tackling him to the ground and raining punches down on his smug face. You're gonna pay for this, you son of a bitch. I screamed. Bystanders rushed to break up the fight, pulling us apart as we hurled insults and threats at one another. This isn't over, Justin. I spat, my chest heaving. I'm going to destroy you, just like you destroyed my life. His eyes narrowed, but a hint of uncertainty flickered across his face as he nursed his split lip. We'll see about that, he snarled, before turning and storming off. Fueled by my thirst for vengeance, I wasted no time in setting my plan into motion. A quick online search revealed that Justin's juice stand was operating without proper permits or health inspections. This was the perfect opportunity to strike. The next day, I marched into the local government office and filed a formal complaint against Justin's illegal business practices. Armed with evidence of his unlicensed operation and potential health code violations, I demanded immediate action. Look, man, this guy is running an unlicensed food vending operation. I told him sternly. It's a hazard. Who knows what kind of unregulated garbage he's selling out of that juice cart? The officer seemed skeptical. We've had complaints about this guy before, but nothing ever stuck. He's charging low prices, though, so people tend to look the other way. I tensed up, frustrated. Well, I'm telling you, as a concerned citizen, if you idiots don't do something about it, I'll be forced to take matters into my own hands. He sighed, scribbling some notes. All right, I'll send an inspector out first thing next week. If they find any violations, we'll have to shut him down. Thank you, I replied curtly. I'll be following up on this. Within a week, Justin's once thriving business was shut down, his dreams of entrepreneurial success crushed by the weight of regulations he had ignored for too long. Enraged by my actions, Justin showed up at my doorstep at evening, his face contorted with fury. You did this, didn't you? He shouted after I answered. You got my business shut down over this bullshit personal grudge. I smirked, admiring my handiwork. That's what you get for being a home-wrecking piece of trash. Maybe follow some basic laws and ethics next time. Justin advanced towards me, fists clenched. In a split second, I grabbed my phone and hit record. That's right, come at me, I goaded him. Give me a reason to get a restraining order on your ass. You think you've won, don't you? He snarled, jabbing a finger in my direction. I'll make you regret this, Mark. This isn't over. He seemed to realize I had him cornered. Spitting venom, Justin turned and stormed off down the street. Over the next week, I made sure to file reports every time he so much as drove past my house. The police obliged by obtaining an official restraining order, prohibiting Justin from coming within 500 feet of me. In the wake of my small victory, I knew I needed to escalate my campaign of retribution. Lila had to face the consequences of her actions, and the whole world needed to know the truth about her betrayal. I began by filing for divorce, a process that felt both liberating and heartbreaking. As the paperwork made its way through the legal system, I turned my attention to a more public form of humiliation. Taking to social media, I crafted a scathing post detailing Lila's affair with Justin. For anyone who hasn't heard, my lying, cheating wife Lila decided to have an affair with a deadbeat juice vending loser behind my back. Here's a photo of this classy woman sending nudes to the dirtbag, covered up of course to protect innocent eyes, complete with a censored but unmistakably compromising photo of the two of them together. I wrote the main caption with a simple yet cutting phrase, "Wife who does anything for free juice," including, well, you get the idea. Within hours, the post had gone viral in our local community, sparking a wave of outrage, mockery, and schadenfreude. Friends and acquaintances flooded my inbox with messages of support, while others reveled in the public shaming of Lila. Lila herself even called, crying hysterically, "Mark, what the hell? How could you do this to me? Please take it down." Take it down? I scoffed. You've got to be kidding me. This is your own doing, Lila. You reap what you sow. I ignored her blubbering and hung up. My phone kept buzzing. The post had over 1,000 shares already. But I wasn't done yet. Riding the wave of viral infamy, I reached out to a local radio station, pitching the story of my unfaithful wife and her sordid affair with the juice seller. To my delight, they eagerly embraced the sensational tale, inviting me on for an interview that further amplified the humiliation. A video soon surfaced, showing a group of people chasing and mocking Lila, brandishing juice glasses and taunting her with crude chants. My phone started buzzing again. This time, it was a video someone had taken of Lila out in public, getting harassed by some jerks with juice bottles, chanting stuff like, "Lila the juice wife." She looked completely mortified, unable to escape the humiliation. Watching the video made me burst into laughter, reveling in her well-deserved punishment. Finally, she was getting a small taste of the hurt and public shame she had brought upon me and our marriage. Though a part of me felt a twinge of guilt, the overwhelming sense of satisfaction at seeing her suffer the consequences of her actions drowned out any lingering empathy. She had brought this upon herself, and I was determined to make her pay in the most public and humiliating way possible. As the divorce proceedings neared their conclusion, I couldn't resist the urge to deliver one final, humiliating blow to Lila. The idea struck me like a bolt of lightning. A party, a grand celebration of my impending freedom, where I could revel in her public shame and bask in the support of those who reveled in her downfall. I took to social media, crafting an invitation that tantalized with the promise of a scandalous tale of betrayal and revenge. "Join me," I wrote, "as I bid farewell to my cheating ex-wife and toast to a future free of her deceit." I wrote on another social media app, "Who's ready to party? My divorce is finally being finalized, and I'm celebrating the most insane cheating wife scandal becoming a single man again. Drinks, music, the whole shebang at my place this Saturday night." I made sure to tag Lila herself in the event page, along with a caption mocking her as the slutty juice wife. The RSVPs started rolling in immediately. Over 100 people had responded going within the first hour. The response was overwhelming. Friends, co-workers, and even strangers who had followed the saga of Lila's affair with rapt fascination all clamored to attend this highly anticipated event. The night of the party arrived, and my house was packed wall-to-wall with a rowdy crowd. The atmosphere was electric, like everyone was getting a perverse thrill out of watching the collapse of my marriage play out. As the revelry reached its peak, a hush fell over the crowd when a familiar figure appeared at the doorway. Lila, her eyes red and puffy, her expression a mask of desperation. "Mark, Please, she pleaded, her voice barely audible over the stunned silence. You've had your revenge. Stop ruining my life on social media. I can't take it anymore. The room erupted into cheers and laughter at her appearance. I produced a glass of juice and extended it towards her with a smirk. Why don't you come in and join the party, my dear? I bellowed for all to hear. After all, you'll do anything for some free juice, won't you? I added, drink up, honey, taunting her, relishing every ounce of her humiliation. It's on the house, just like Justin's special treats. Lila turned beet red as the crowd went wild, pelting her with insults and juice boxes. Tears streamed down her face as she realized she'd never be able to show her face without being branded the juice wife. Her shoulders slumped in defeat, and she turned to flee, the roar of laughter following her out the door. In that moment, I had achieved a level of vindication that no amount of revenge could ever surpass. Lila became a virtual recluse, her once vibrant spirit crushed under the weight of public scorn and ridicule. Everywhere she went, whispers and pointed fingers trailed in her wake, a constant reminder of the scandal that had consumed her life. A couple weeks passed, and I happened to spot Lila packing up a U-Haul in her driveway one morning. I approached cautiously. So, where are you going to go? I asked, genuinely curious. Her reputation was in ruins around here. Lila avoided making eye contact, still ashamed. I got a job transfer to a company in Arizona. Going to start over fresh, where no one knows me. I shook my head in disbelief. After everything, you're still just running away? Unbelievable. What other choice do I have? She responded meekly. You've made it impossible for me to stay here. Finally, unable to bear the constant torment any longer, she made the decision to leave our sleepy suburban town behind, packing what little remained of her dignity and setting off for a new city, a fresh start where her past transgressions might be forgotten. As I watched her drive away, a part of me felt a twinge of sadness, not for her, but for the woman I had once loved, the woman she used to be before her betrayal. But that fleeting melancholy was quickly overshadowed by a sense of triumph and relief. A weight lifted from my shoulders. As the weeks and months passed, I was pleasantly surprised by all the support and encouragement that came my way. Friends, family, colleagues. They were all impressed by my ability to tackle such a horrible betrayal with resilience and humor. Dude, the way you punked Lila was absolutely legendary. My buddy Carl clapped me on the back after recounting the story. She deserved every bit of that. I just did what any self-respecting guy would do. I shrugged it off. No one messes with the Anderson name. Work became a welcome refuge, allowing me to bury myself in coding projects for hours on end. My profile was rising too. I was fresh off being promoted to senior software engineer. Out in the world, life was pretty normal, actually. No more seconds glances or harassment. Unlike poor exiled Lila, people seemed to respect that I had dished out some uniquely fitting revenge, but then moved on, which is exactly what I did. Lila's deplorable actions and the storm of anger that followed faded into the rearview. One day, I was out at a club with friends when a gorgeous brunette walked by, locking eyes with me momentarily. She shot me a subtle smile before rejoining her girlfriends. Oh no, did you see how she just eye-fucked you? Carl nudged me with a devious grin. The juice saga has made you a goddamn legend. I laughed and threw back my drink. For the first time in a long while, I realized something. I was finally ready to start living again. As I looked ahead to the future, a sense of peace washed over me. The storm had passed, and though the memories of betrayal would never truly fade, I had emerged from the wreckage a stronger, wiser man, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead with a newfound sense of purpose and an unshakable belief in my own resilience. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your precious time. If you enjoyed this story, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel. That would help me a lot. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.